working on big projects like that, does that system transfer over into your intervention design?
It does. It's very similar. I mean, most of my interventions and songwriting and recording, all of those things are interwoven, and most of those projects will stem from a session where I'll be inspired by a client or a client's need for a certain type of song or a certain type of intervention. So then I may be writing that song in the moment during the session, but then I'll take that song later and say, okay, well, this is something that I'm going to share on Listen and Learn or on my membership site. And so then I'll take that and I'll apply the whatever processes I need to complete, however else I'm going to share that song or that intervention. So everything's very intertwined, which is something that I love so much about all the different facets of my work. There's so many things going on, but they're all related. So it's not like, well, I shouldn't say they're all related, but that area, especially with Listen and Learn, it overlaps so much with my private practice work.
Yeah, I think my private practice has inspired the marketplace, and I think that the things that give us initial creativity help us to sustain creativity in other facets of our work as music therapists and business owners.
Absolutely. I've found that when I'm not working in the clinical space, like for this summer, for instance, I'm on maternity leave, so I'm not seeing clients. I am doing some early childhood classes, but seeing clients, I don't have these song ideas and these song inspirations, kind of supplying my online side of my work. So, it's almost like I really need that part in order to kind of feed the other part of my work. It's fun how that's all kind of feeds on each other.
Yeah, that was actually what you just said about how one feeding the other was part of my inspiration for the marketplace, because I heard from so many music therapists that we're working, but we don't have any creative juice left over. And so we're using the marketplace to help support and feed the creative juice of the music therapist who's working, so that they can have that experience like you described, seeing clients and being inspired and having a reserve to help them push through their 7 hours of clients a day, or their 3 hours of documentation at the end of the day, or whatever happens to be kind of wearing them down.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to start from scratch with every single intervention in every single second of your sessions, because that would just be insane.
Definitely. Well, when you sit down with your intervention and you are interested in listing it on your website, how long does it take you to have the idea, to create the system, and then to put it online?
It varies. I think it depends on whether I've actually used it in the clinical setting, because if I have, then I really don't even need to think. I can kind of just go off of how it went in the session and what other ideas popped up, because usually that's where I'll get inspired for other ways that I can apply a specific song or intervention. I'm working with one client and I think, I can do it this way with another client and it'll work really well for this goal or objective. If it's a brand new one that wasn't based on one of my client's specific needs, then that'll require a little bit more time just to kind of come up with some more of those ideas and kind of the steps, just because I haven't done it in real life yet. But like I said, the actual content creation part and doing the computer work that it entails, that stuff I really do have down to a science. So I think that's probably the quickest part.
Sure.
The brain power part is probably the most time consuming.
Yeah.
And I would say that I probably spend, like a good hour or so just coming up with how I want to word things, and really coming up with all the ways that you can utilize a specific intervention, because it's always good to have adaptations. And that's one thing that I like to include in like my blog posts where I share new songs is, okay, this is one way that I've tried this song, but I might do this or I might do that. Or if you're working with an age group that's a little bit older, then maybe you could change it like this. So coming up with all of those tweaks and other ideas so that it's applicable to a larger audience of music therapists and others that work with kids and young adults.
That's awesome. I'm sucked in. I want to hear more about it. When I sit
Well,
down,
and I really break down all of the processes for not only songwriting and coming up with the things that I do in both my early childhood classes and music therapy sessions, but also the recording and sharing my songs, whether that's online, whether that's with clients, in my two CMTEs. And I have one course through Music Therapy Ed, and that's um, the songwriting and recording course, and then through Listen and Learn, which is the early childhood music programs creation course. So there I really, really break it down, and so there's a lot more to it without getting super specific here because I know that our time's limited, but yeah, that's for me. It's just having those step by steps helps so much, and being able to check off a list like you were talking about with the marketplace and having those checklists. I think that's vital to completing any project, no matter what size it is.
yeah, checklists for the win. That's the
For the win, yes, absolutely.